Welcome to a brand new week. My name is Montivino Valentine. I am the co-founder of the Pride FX movement. Now, if you have not subscribed, please do subscribe, hit the like button as well as the notification bell so that you can receive future videos we do have on this YouTube channel. Now, we also do have a Telegram channel. This is where you can get all our free indicators and so forth. All you have to search is Pride FX or Pride_FX and you will find us on Telegram. Okay, over there the family does share information about analysis that I've picked up, some signals as well in that group. So hopefully you will be joining our family, and if you do, welcome to the family and have a fantastic time where you get free indicators every single day, every single week from us, as well as some of the community members within Pride FX. Okay, so let's get into today's video. We are doing the red blow job system. It is an updated system.
New updated red blow job system, guys. New updated red blow job system, guys. New updated red blow job system. New updated. Yeah. Nasdaq.
Now, I know most of you wants to know how to use the system, but today we're going to do a review so that you can understand what are you getting yourself into, how does the system work, what operates behind the system. And so we're just going to dive straight into it, and I'm going to give you a review on how I feel.
You taught me an average trader makes a trade and feels good. A great trader makes a trade and feels nothing. As in, be cold and act. Don't get hung up on emotion.
And tomorrow will be how to use the system. Okay, so today is just a review on what I think the system is. So we're going to start with the first indicator, and that's called the currency meter red blow job. Okay, so once we bring that up, we need to also give a consent from our side that we are allowing the system to work on our side, so that you actually understand the terms between you and the creator of the robot. So we're going to allow DRL imports, we're going to allow external expert imports, and we're also going to allow modification of signal settings. Okay, then in inputs, depending on what you understand from the system, it's going to take about a few months for you to start playing around with the inputs of a system that someone else created. We're just going to click OK and see what it brings up. Now, what we can see in the the bottom right corner, is that we do have the meter that's telling us the different currency pairs that it's picking up. Okay, the higher it is to the green side, it's telling you if the market is in consolidation, if the market is in a volatile space, or if the market is moving drastically fast in a certain direction. So from what we can see here, we are given certain currency pairs that this system works with. So we have USD, we have Euro, we have GBP, we have CHF, we have CAD, we have Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, as well as the Japanese yen. Okay, and from that we can see that the United States dollar is actually on a rise. It's actually moving in a certain direction much more faster. The lower the meter is, the slower the currency pair is moving for the day. So over here we can see that you can see that from that we are having a slow move on the euro pairs, and from the GBP pairs we have a much more slow but also fast, so we can say an in-between rate of where the market is moving. So very interesting indicator. Also, what you do get is a rating of what is currently happening. So how I would use this is if it's above 5.0 or 5.0, as you can see USD is on 6.7, it does tell you that the market is moving much more faster. If it's below 5.0, I would say that the market is actually moving at a much slower rate than what you should be expecting. Okay, the higher the number, the much faster the move of that is actually going to go into your favor. Okay, and then from there we're going to bring up the red blow job. The thing that I don't like actually about the indicators is that they are not given professional names. It would be nice to know what are you actually putting onto your chart before you see it. So that would also be a nice thing, not just naming every single indicator the same name. You know, sometimes when you do save these, some people might get that they have to replace a certain indicator on their computer because the computer picks it up as a certain name that is already saved onto the computer, and it just makes much more work if you do have to rename an indicator. So it would be nice if Mr. Red Blowjob does actually give certain indicators different names, okay? And then obviously, you know, you have to allow inputs we have spoken about, and then visualization is normally speaking about your time frames. As I've said before, if you want to use it specifically only on the 4 hour or on a lower time frame such as the 1 minute, it depends all on your trading style. If you're a swing trader from the 4 hour, it would be nice for you to add it from there. If you are a scalper, I would say from the 1 minute up until the 1 hour would be your time frames. Okay, so let's click OK. And so we are brought up with some information, so I'm going to go through this information. So the first thing is that we do see that we are on the AUD USD pair, and it also tells us what time frame we are on. So we can see that we're on the 1 hour time frame, and then we also have a stop loss as well as a pip stop. So a stop loss mainly works as where would you want to take your loss, okay? And then a pip stop just tells you how much pips did you lose in that trade. And then pip profits just tells you how many pips have you made in that trade. And then the balance is between how much have you made and how much have you lost for the week or for the month. Now the nice thing about having a percentage balance, it actually works as a trading journal. So for those of you who don't have the time to sit around and wait for a trading journal, I would say that is one of the factors that I would look to consider when I am trading on a daily basis. And then we do have the trend, and what the trend tells us is basically which side does the market favor much more. Is it on the bullish trend or if it's on the bearish trend? So basically we have the up percentage and we also have the down percentage. Now the nice thing about this is that when you are actually looking at the overall, we are also told that the market is in an up momentum, which is a buy, and then we're also told that the momentum is weak. Now why is that it's telling us that it's weak? Is because of the percentage rate between these two. We can see how close the up and down are to each other. It's only a 4% difference that's telling us that the market is going in an up position. So that's also nice if you did maybe catch a trade or you are about to catch a trade and you know that the market is actually very weak and it's not moving as fast as you are expecting. Okay, then daily pivots is basically where was the highest point, where was the lowest point before, and we can see from there we had it at 0.7559, and basically much more easier to understand is that where is the highs and where is the lows. Now the one that I would mainly suggest for you to look at is the PV, and the PV basically just explains the difference between the R as well as the S. So if the R is much higher, we are expected to buy, and if the S is much lower, we are expected to sell. So the higher the in-betweens of this is much more easier to understand. But if you are not good with calculations, I would say just stick to the top trend. It also gives you a very nice way of understanding. Then the daily range is basically these two work together. Like I said, they work between the highest point and the lowest point. And so for today, we can see that the range is at 41, and we can see that from the next day, we're going to have a 59 range up until the 50 days, which is 55. So we are not expecting a lot of market movement from the upside as well as the downside. Very interesting to know that. And then also you do get the average of what is actually going on, and the average is at 59. So it tells you that the market will not be drastically moving as fast as we're expecting for about a day or the 50 days that this thing is speaking about, but it will pick up the more you use the system. Okay, very interesting to know that. And then we can also bring up this one. And the nice factor about this is that it was used before. And so I would normally be saying that this is not an updated system. And the reason why I say it's not an updated system is because this was actually found by Top Lessons, and I've also used it in the past by Youth in Forex when they just started designing robots. So we can see that this indicator, it does repaint a lot, guys. I'm not going to lie and say that it's going to give you perfect signals all the time. No, these buys and sell indicators, they normally repaint because the condition was not met, and they're actually looking for the highest and the lowest points. If that highest point was broken, or if that lowest point was broken, it does give you a signal. Okay, so whether the market moves lower and lower, it's just going to continuously repaint because of that structure. So how I can demonstrate this to you, let's say that is the lowest point of that mark, and over here we had that trend, right? So the sell trend begins over here, and so this would be marked as our new highest point, right? And from that point onwards we can see the market dropping. So once it surpasses our sell or our buy signal or our lowest point, then we are expected to buy. Now what I'm saying is that when the signal drop below that, we're going to get a signal for a buy, and we can see from that point onwards the market moves much lower than when the signal was given. And so this indicator will repaint over and over until the market decides to reverse. Okay, so what I can give you as an advice for this indicators is that you need to have a bigger risk factor than what you're expecting. And so if you are going to take that trade, I would suggest for you to put your stop loss at 50 pips and also look at what balance your account is on. Okay, if it's $100, I would say 0.01 with that 50 pip stop loss, because you're going to get a repaint. It's not that the system doesn't work, it's just that the market conditions were given to the robot, and so the robot will give you that information on there. What the robot doesn't understand is that the market makers might move much more lower than expected. So please, when you're using this, don't just take a trade because of what the indicator is telling you to do, which is our sell and buy indicator. Then we move along to the fourth indicator, and let's just load this up and see what it brings up. So the nice thing about this is there's only two things that I really like about the Red Blowjob system. And number one, it's the take profit levels. I know they have designed a better way for you to understand what is going on, but for me it would be that the ADR lines is much better to understand than having a take profit or a stop loss and so forth. And the reason why I say so is because with the ADR, it's picking up numbers that we wouldn't actually expect for it to pick up, and that's so important when you are a forex trader, right? If you're expecting a 61% take profit, then this would be your first mark. If you're expecting 100% on the trade you have taken, then the 100% mark would be your take profit too, right? And the higher you go, like a 200%, if you are looking at a long-term perspective, like this showing, this is a day one time frame, so you know from the daily time frame you will be holding much longer. Now if you are a scalper, it also gives you information that you can take your trades out in that day. Okay, so very important that you do understand that even though we creators have given you these take profits, it's also your decision if you'd like to keep that trade for 200% or up to 61%, depending on your trading style. If you are a scalper, 61, 100% is your mark. If you are a much more long-term trader, you should be expecting that the market just doesn't move straight up. It's going to make zigzag patterns until it goes to the reward that most long-term traders are looking for, and that's the highest profit, which is 200%. And so to understand that is basically just for you to know what percentage are you given on your chart. Okay, and then we have order to buy. So this is actually where you would take your buy entries, or you can put a buy stop as a place where you would like the market to enter. So if you don't have enough time during the day, or if you woke up for work, or if you're at school, it's just nice to have a pending order that can trigger your orders, and then you are in profit or in a loss depending on how you see the market on your side, right? If you are a busy person, then it's nice to just have pending orders. But if you do have the time during the day, then you can watch the conditions being met and then use the market execution just to get your entries in much more faster. Then we also do have the pre-high and the pre-low, and what this basically speaks about is what has happened in the past day or the past 2 days on where the market was at its highest point or where the market was at its lowest point. And what I like about this is that it is using the London breakout strategy, and that's basically just when the market does open, does it actually break between the highest point or the lowest point, and from there you would be given an order to maybe take a buy or maybe to take a sell, depending on which side the candlestick does break. Okay, so very interesting that is there. And we can also see that there's an open for day one, and which where did the market open. It's also nice to know what history are you following and where did the market open. So very interesting. Last but not least, my favorite out of all the red bullion indicators that was given to us in this list is this over here. Unfortunately, like I said to you, it would be much more nicer to have the naming of all your systems. So now we're just saying red blowjob RBJ, which is still standing for red blowjob, but the last indicator is the main one for me. And what I like about this indicator is that you do get a candlestick on the side. So what this candlestick does is it does eliminate a lot of the market noise that we are looking at, right? So we are normally traders that are looking at basically two factors. Is the market moving up, or is the market moving down? And these are stress factors that normally plays with our emotions when the market is not moving in our favor, or let's say the market is moving in our favor. We get so excited that when the market starts moving down, we do get disappointed. Now, what I like about this candlestick, it's basically telling you where the market is heading. And so that's a nice factor to have when you are trading, so that you know that the market is still moving in your favor. Okay, and then what comes with this as well is just a bonus for you to understand is that you do get the pair that you are trading and what is the value of the market at currently. So we can see that it's at 0.74 cents, 86.5, which is behind the decimal. And then we have change range. We can see that from the time this market decided to go up, it's from in between the 41 and to the 21. And what that is your highlighted part over here. And this highlighted part tells us that the market is actually moving much more lower than where it came from previously. So very nice to have a changing range. And then distance from high, so this high that they are speaking of is just about an 18 on that high that we are looking to get more on. The momentum needs to move up, and then the distance from the low, which is this point over here, it is a 23 from that point. So the higher the number on the high, you would know that this market is actually selling, the momentum is actually selling. And if we look at the low, let's say the in this instance that it is much further than where the low is, so we know that the market is actually really buying. So very nice thing. And then swap long and swap short, it's basically telling you, this is the nice part about the system, guys, is that when you do take a trade, it's telling you what commission are you paying for your trade, right? So if you are going in, you can see that you're going to go into a $2 commission rate for the broker. and from swap short you can see that you're going in a $1.28 rate. Very good system. Like you said, it is an updated system. I actually think that the creators of the system did put their mind to work. Don't forget, tomorrow we are speaking about how to use the system. Today it was just basically explaining to you what the system is really about. Okay, see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful day.